Welcome back to Facing the Crowd. We are chatting with Allegro Dinkwanyane. She's the owner and CEO of Orgella Media. What was life like growing up for you? I mean, you hail from Limpopo. What helped shape your experiences?
Life was challenging. We had our, good times, and then we had our fair share of the downs. I was born in Limpopo, but I was raised in Pretoria because at the time my dad was working in Pretoria as a lecturer at the University of Pretoria. So I grew up there, went to primary school from the age of 6. I grew up in Pretoria, and only after my parents divorced at the age of 12, we moved back to Limpopo because my mom found a job that side. That's where she's also originally from, so she had to be closer to family to get, support, raising 4 children now on her own. So, like I said, the first decade of my life, you'd say it was great, and then the next part that followed was the testing times of how solid are you, how focused are you going to be through a time where you have to shift from being daddy's little girl, and then there's a divorce in between that, and then now you're entering your teens, and then you're going to high school, and then there's so much happening, and then you still have to focus on your dreams. And I'm the last of 4 children at that time, so it was challenging, but life has been great. I had a good family, you could have a good support system. My family, my mom, my brother, my 2 sisters, even my nieces and nephews, they're like my biggest cheerleading camp. They support me even when they don't understand what I'm doing. When I wanted to launch the blog, my mom was like, what is this? What's blogging? What's internet? But she was like, run with it. Go ahead. I see the passion, when you speak about it. So we're here to support you.
What did you want to do when you were growing up? I mean, as a child, obviously this kind of job was not created at that point.
I went from anything from wanting to be a singer. At some point, I really thought I was the bomb.com. Like, I remember one of our teachers in high school said that we should create a poster, advertise yourself, whatever you are going to be. Some people were drawing, come see Dr. Whoever, I'm going to be a dentist, so you're advertising your services, pretty much like a billboard. And I drew myself with a microphone and I said, come watch Allegro at Madison Square Garden. And that was the vision, so from wanting to be a singer, and then fast forward, I'm like, nah, this is not for me. I'll just support singers, but I'm not going to be one. I then wanted to be a vet because I love animals, I love dogs, and I thought, I'm going to be a vet. But my mom was like, which black vet do you know in our neighborhood that's successful? So quit that dream, and I was like, wow, mom, okay, cool. But my love for that also ran out eventually, until I found myself within the media space, and I discovered an Oprah, and I discovered a Kanye, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to do this, and I'm in love with what they do, and I think I can even do it way better and in my own way. So that's where I ended up in.
As we journey, we come across many people who play pivotal roles in our life. Who would you say have been some of your biggest influences to date?
My biggest influences started home. My grandmother, my mother's mother, she's amazing. She was absolutely amazing. Had it not been for that woman, I don't think I would be the driven, independent, strong woman that I am today. And then, of course, the woman that she raised, also my mother, who raised me to be, similar to her with an extra cherry on top. She just was like, she pushed me beyond my limits. Those are, my first 2 role models. I believe it begins at home before you see anybody else on TV, in magazines, people you come across in life that inspire you. And then, of course, my biggest inspiration regarding the company itself would be Miss Oprah Winfrey. She inspired the name of my company. When I realized that Harper was actually her name backwards, I was like, I have to have a name that also, sounds proper.
Yes.
And my first name is Mahal, which means grace, and that meant absolutely nothing backwards. It didn't sound right. And then I looked at my second name, Allegro, and I thought, wow, beautiful. I'm going to run with Orgella. And so Oprah has really been one of my biggest inspirations. And then bringing it back home, you have women like Basitsana Kumalo that, from beauty pageant to, media entrepreneur. You have Kanye Dlomo, from magazine editor, journalist, to what doesn't she do?
Yep.
Look at her today, And those are women that really have inspired me and continue to inspire my journey.
As times get tough, what are some of those philosophical gems that you hold onto that help ground you, that help you motivated when you don't want to get up, when you're tired, when things are not working out the way you want them to?
I love that you say philosophical. I majored in philosophy, and one of my favorite philosophers is Aristotle, and I discovered him in first year. And I remember one of my favorite quotes from him was, We all have the power to be great, but some of us just never realize it. We don't work at it. We don't work at that potential of being great. And ever since I heard that, I knew that I have the potential to be great. I think you know it, but then you take it for granted until you hear something like that. You know, it could be just 2 sentences and you're like, wait a minute. That just said something to me. So I always remind myself, even when I come across challenges in businesses, because it's not easy running a company. I mean, a small business, you're young, you're black, you're in South Africa, you're trying to get funding, it's tough. But you always go back and say, you know what, I do have the potential to be great and I'm gonna make it.
We managed to catch up with a few people who do know you best. This is what they had to say about you.
Hi, I'm Roday Marshall and I'm friends with Allegro. I can't quite remember when Allegro and I met, but I know it was at the time when she was working at Trace Urban. I was working at the Mail and Guardian, and we must have met at an event. We're both assuming. We can't exactly remember when, but we very quickly clicked. Allegro is very sweet, a very, very kind-hearted person. There's never a moment where Allegro's needs are more important than the needs of someone else. She's got a very, very genuine love for others, very excited to help people, and that's one of the qualities that I admire about her, is her selflessness and the way she loves people. I mean, she loves them, she's all in. When I met Allegro, she was doing her business on the side already, and she kept on saying to me, like I need to do this full time. Like, I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, but I need to do this full time. And at some point she just took the leap of faith and she did it, and she's done it so well. Allegro dreams of a family. Like, I think like that is probably her big dream, is to have this really great family, which she has, but as in her own family, like kids and husband, which I wish for her to find someone who's going to celebrate her, love her and value her, and bring out even more of who she is. So if she finds that perfect person, that it's someone that is worthy of such a big person. Like, she's a great human being. There's not many young women that I know that has achieved as much as Allegro and has consistently stayed the same.
Now, getting back to the core of your business, Orgella Media, I mean, you mentioned earlier on that there were some challenges that you faced or continue to face along the way. I mean, that is the illustrious journey of entrepreneurship. What would you say are some of those challenges, and how have you managed to work around them to empower yourself and work through them?
I think my biggest challenge starting out the company was not being taken seriously. They expect to be meeting, I don't know, some big woman when they think of Allegro, and then here I am coming in, I'm like petite, tiny, short, and nobody really takes you that seriously, you know. And I've been told a lot of times that I'm inexperienced to run a media company. I couldn't get funding because they said, I mean, where have you worked? We can't trust you with, you know, funding this company, and when other, you know, companies are still struggling in the country, how do we believe in that? And eventually you just get, you hear so many no's that you create your own yes, you know, and that's what I did. And I thought, it's fine, I'm gonna self-fund my own company, it's okay. And the company's been self-funded, no shareholders, no banks, things like that involved, and I'm here 6 years, almost 6 years later.
I wanted to know from you, I mean, top 3 advice tips for people who want to follow in your footsteps, who want to learn about the communication space. What would you impart to them today?
I would definitely say have a plan. People think, oh, but you just did it, you left UJ, you were 21, and then, no, I had a plan. Orgella was birthed when I was 16. in a maths classroom. People don't know that. My best friends from high school know that. They will tell you that you actually did it. You would tell us about Orgella all the time, and now here it is. But people who come across me and my story now think it starts now. What you see on Instagram, I'm 25, I'm 26, you think, well, she probably comes from a rich family, or I don't know, somebody just helped along the way. You don't know that I used to scribble my name backwards, you know, in a math class, and I was like, this is what it's going to be. You know, that's where it started. I always had a vision, and with that vision, I didn't let it go. I worked at it. You know, hard work. You're going to have to put in a lot of hard work. A lot of young people don't like that. They want to, you know, finish school, get a big house, get a big car, fancy, flashy, do it for the gram. It doesn't work like that.
Instant gratification.
No, it doesn't work like that. You are going to go broke. You're going to sit and pay other people and not pay yourself as an entrepreneur. You're going to have to put in, like, it's not a 9 to 5. I work around the clock. People don't understand. Even when I leave this office, I get home, I open my laptop, and I'm, you know, on a Skype meeting with a potential business partner in Atlanta or in London or whatever it is, talking to, you know, somebody who wants to write for my blog in a different state. And it doesn't stop. You always continuously working. So if you're not about hard work, if you're not about consistency, and if you're not about believing in yourself and other people, including your own family at times who don't believe in you, then you're just going to crumble. You might as well go just, you know, do what everybody else is doing. Go the normal route and join the queue of applying for a job. Maybe I might hire you at Orgella Media, who knows. But with that being said, also entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Otherwise, I mean, where would we all be, you know? It's not for everybody. There's some people that are meant to start something, be the leaders, and then there's people that help those people that start something, and they're good at being managers. They're good at, you know, whatever their role is within that company, that's what they flourish in, and they shouldn't look down on themselves and think, wow, why don't I just start something? How come Allegro did it? Maybe that's not your calling, that's not your purpose, you know. But whatever it is that you're doing in your field, whether you're a doctor, you're a professional, you work in a bank, do it with love, do it with passion, know where you want to go. If that's what you want to do, then
and stay
you're
in
good.
the lane.
You're good. Yes, definitely.
As you mentioned earlier on, you had some interns working with you. You're a firm believer in giving back. Orgella Helping Hand has been a project that's really close to your heart. I mean, how did that come about? What do you aim to impart through that? And where do you see it growing in the future?
Orgella Helping Hand is very close to my heart. I always say that if it wasn't an NGO, if I was getting some sort of salary out of it, I would leave everything and just do that. You know, I wouldn't be so involved with the rest of the company. I would just trek South Africa and Africa and, you know, lending a helping hand. It's a foundation of, you know, young people that lend a helping hand to the underprivileged, homeless, orphaned. We do a lot of work in, pardon me, in the streets, feeding the homeless, clothing them. We're building a library in Tamagani village. Education is something very important to me also. So we do a lot, you know, and wherever we feel like, okay, there's a gap there, let's do something. And what I love is that it's young people. You know, sometimes we have people that donate and help us out. Other times, most times, if at all, it's us saying, okay, guys, we're going to do a soup kitchen drive in winter. Let's go feed the homeless. Who's buying the bread? Who's making the soup? Who's bringing socks? Who's bringing some clothes? Whatever, you know. And it's a group of us as volunteers, about 40 of us. And then most times in Joburg, it would be about 10, 20. Then there's other guys that bring friends once in a while, and it grows. And the vision with that for me is really to, I say, philanthropy is my way of showing people that God has not forgotten about them.
In terms of the holding company, I mean, what can we expect from you in the near future? What are some of the plans you've got for yourself also?
For the company Orgella Media, we are growing. We're actually branching out into Durban. One of our senior account execs, Nethimba, will be moving down to Durban to head up the office that side. So there's definitely opportunities. We're growing in South Africa. My goal is to grow in Africa first. I feel like Africa right now is the hub of everything. The world is looking at Africa, as opposed to maybe 10 years earlier, people were saying, I want to go to America, I want to go to the UK and whatever. It's great. International roles are always great. I mean, look at the Trevor Noahs of the world, the Terry Peters that have just, they're flourishing, the Charlize Therons. But right now my focus is Africa. I want to do so much work with, you know, our celebrity brands in Africa, our corporate brands in Africa, and be one of the, you know, top media companies in Africa. you know, and then we'll see what branches we you know, what doors are opened internationally, you know. So that's what we can expect. We are branching out, and that also means creating more jobs. You know, that means more young people are going to be hired in the company. And personally, just happiness. You know, everybody always asks me, what do you want to be? And I always say I want to be happy. You know, I want to be what my name is in Portuguese.
I was just going to say, that's translated.
You know, and for me that equates to, you know, being happy and financially, spiritually, you know, that's success for me. You know, when people say, how do you define your success? It's happiness. You know, that's the highest level of success for me.
Well, thank you for lending us your time today. Thank you for imparting your story. Wish you all the best for your future endeavors and continue to shine.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, they say dreams can come true as long as we have the courage to pursue them, and Allegro is proof of that. That's all we have time for this week. From myself, Liesl Wilson, and the rest of the team, it's goodbye for now.